So yeah, I want to get your perspective of what travel looks like outside of, for now, the most frequently visited countries right now, when it comes to travel, especially as some of these countries increased in cost. Because the more people travel, the less, more field planes is, flights are becoming more expensive to places. Um, People are getting adjusted to being able to tax gringos or tourists. Um, and then also the American influence as well. So, what does travel look? What do you think travel looks like in the near future for single men outside of these frequently visited countries?
So I have a different belief, which kind of I'll try to get to your answering your question, but I gotta say this: a lot
Uh-huh.
of times when people talk about the big three, they're really just talking about the cities, the certain
Mm.
cities. They're talking about Cartagena or Medellin. They're
Mhm.
talking about Sosua, and they're talking about Rio de Janeiro. I feel as though people make it seem as if one city is the whole country, but
True.
it's not. Maybe the majority of black or other travelers go to these major cities because it's the first city of the introduction to the country. So I wouldn't personally, I would not ever suggest someone that's never visited Colombia to go to Medellin first. I would never say go to Cali first because they're dangerous, but because there's a different environment that you have to learn. I would say go to the tourist place where they make it so it's not what you feel as though it's dangerous. Go to Cartagena. Cartagena will be a walkthrough. Once you've been to Cartagena a couple times, venture out. I
Mm.
mean, but the issue is just that when they say big three, they're talking about the same exact places. Now, what I think people are going to do I think people are ever going to leave Cartagena? No. Sosua, I don't know. Sosua is a smaller place. I haven't been there, so I can't speak too much on it. But Sosua is on an island. Dominican Republic is a small place in comparison to Cartagena, in comparison to Rio de Janeiro. And I think that what happens a lot is that people who have been traveling for a long time, but
Mhm.
been going to the exact same place, they get upset that things may change because there are more people that are going to that place. But in reality, the only person a person should be upset at is yourself. Because if you haven't tried to learn the language so you can go other places or network with people so you can go other places, then I don't understand why you're getting mad at people who are coming for the first time like you were back in the day. It's like that's what I'm saying. It's black people sometimes we have because of how we were trained in the United States, how we were educated in the United States, sometimes we have a bad habit of making it out of somewhere and then knocking people that's getting there for the first time. And because of where I come from, I can never do that. So I would say, like I said, I don't feel as though Cartagena is ever going to change. I don't feel as though Rio de Janeiro is ever going to get dead. Like Sosua is a little bit different because it is a smaller place. But
Right.
Costa Rica, not Costa Rica, none of that. So I think what could happen is that people, before they would go to places like Africa, before they would go to places like Thailand, or before they would go to places like, I'm talking about the majority. There will be some, but the majority of people, before they would go to these places, they would start to learn the language, learn the culture, and then venture out inside of the cities that they're already in. So they would go to Cartagena. They'd be like, all right, so I've been here 4 times already this year. I feel comfortable with the culture. Maybe I'll take a trip to Medellin and see what it's like. And then they
Mm.
say Medellin, they've been there 3 times. All right, maybe I'll take a trip to Barranquilla. That's what I feel as though is more likely to happen than people to go to Thailand by the masses or go to Africa or go to London and places like that.
Mm. Now, you're right. You're right, and that's why I kind of appreciate your perspective, because what I mean, it's gonna you're gonna be objective. You're gonna be objective.